Hi, Hillary. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Anne Marie. How are you?
I am good. I just wanted to invite you on a call because a couple weeks ago, when you were telling me that story about that incident that you had experienced, I just wanted to share that with with some of our people because it was the second time I heard that in a week. So I thought, okay, this must be happening a lot more often if I've heard that twice in a week. So I just wanted to take the time to just ask you a little bit about that. Obviously, please don't share any names or client info, and just give us like the high level details of what happened in that cybersecurity incident. But first, why don't you tell us on a high level, like what you do?
Thanks, Anne Marie. I'm an accountant, a CPA, and I work for a Midwestern accounting firm. Uh, we perform mostly internal audit and corporate accounting support, as well as outsourced accounting for companies.
Awesome. So can you tell me about that one incident you shared with me over Zoom the other week?
Sure. So we perform internal audit support for a company where the person in charge of the accounts payable clerks fell victim to a phishing scam. So her email was hijacked and she did not know it for some time. And what they did, because of the pandemic, they were all working in separate places from home.
Okay.
This particular group was used to working in an open area where they could talk to each other and say, hey, I got this note from you. How do you want to do this? That was their normal process. And that was almost part of their internal control, just communicating like that kind of informally. So one of her responsibilities was to initiate wire transfers by telling the clerk to write the wire transfer.
Got it.
Via email.
Okay.
A hacker got in and saw that. They went ahead and sent a request to the AP clerk that looked like it was from her boss, saying, send $300,000 to this vendor, this bank account. Now, their normal control, the true control would have been the vendor would already be in the accounting system and approved.
Mm-hmm.
And the backup control would be that she would turn around from her desk and say, hey, Debbie, I just want to confirm that you really want me to do this $300,000.
Mm-hmm.
Backup control wasn't there anymore, obviously. And that's a very informal secondary control. And the control around the accounting system was separate because this was through the banking system.
Wow.
Kind of convoluted in how this all occurred, but unfortunately the wire transfer got made.
Wow. Okay, wait, let's back up a little bit because you said that her email got hacked. So somebody actually got into her email, was reading her email and sending email out from her email.
Mm-hmm.
She had no idea.
No, because how often do people really go back to their sent email box?
Oh, I lost you. You still there? Okay. You paused first. You froze for a
Yeah.
second. Okay.
Yeah. So she didn't realize it because I think the hacker's probably smart enough to delete that email after they sent it, would be my guess.
Gosh. Okay. So, wow. And how'd they find out that he was in there for a while?
Well, because the wire transfer got made and no one
Knew.
it until a second wire transfer request came through via the hacker for $800,000. And when they caught it, I think that the clerk then, because it was an even bigger amount, started wondering.
Got it.
And they did not obviously send that $800,000, but this all started because that person, the supervisor, fell prey to that phishing attack. And it was very, very subtle because they didn't like all of a sudden shut down her email. And so she knew what was happening. It was over time. And then everything just blew up.
Okay, so when they sent the 300,000 the first time, were they able to get the money back? Like what happened around that? No.
Wire transfers are gone. Um, you can't get wire transfers back.
And their investigation, did they contact the FBI? How did that process look like?
So that's not complete. This
Got
is
it.
new. This is very new. And when we talk to them, we actually talk to them about what our firm does to avoid that, because we are at risk for that kind of fraud, because our accountants are in the accounting systems of our clients, and some of them are in the banking systems of our clients. And so we are susceptible. So we implemented several controls, including, and I think it's the most important and could have potentially helped this client. We use Know Before, which trains people on awareness and looking out for phishing attacks and not falling prey to them. And we get probably 2 to 3 a week that are phishing attacks. And we have right in our Microsoft Outlook that we can just click a button and report it. And then it positive feedback that, good job, this was a false phishing attack, but you're saving our company from, falling prey to this. And then we also had to institute training controls around that and performance improvement controls around if people continue to fail those phishing attacks, because it's really dangerous, as we saw at our client. And we just really, there's so many bad things, reputational risk, and not just money, it's everything. The trust of our clients, the ability to get new clients.
Yeah.
Impacted by these kind of things. So we also implemented multi-factor authentication, and we use a password manager, a required password manager called LastPass. And I don't own any of these companies, but I definitely recommend them all because they help me sleep at night.
Yeah, that's exactly, those tools are exactly what we use as well. So in terms of controls, is there anything else that you could recommend in terms of person process to prevent that from happening in the future for other companies?
So there's a lot of controls that can be there, but the most important are segregation of duties. So the fact that at that dollar amount, that there's just one person able to email another person and tell them to send money to a bank account, that's not enough around that level dollar amount.
Got it.
So, you can have materiality levels and say, hey, under $10,000, and it all depends on the size of your company and your revenue, but under $10,000, it's fine. But $10,000, we need to do more steps. We need to put more controls in there, one other set of eyes to make sure that nothing unusual is happening. And then there's also where you can have, the banks have controls that you can put in place.
Oh.
And those are pretty good in that they're called like positive pay controls. Are you familiar with those at all?
Yeah, share a little bit about that.
So positive pay, you tell the bank before you're going to write checks or do ACHs or send wire transfers, you're going to tell them ahead of time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the bank will not allow, it will reject any of those transactions that do not match what you've told them ahead of time. And they make it easy so you can upload an Excel spreadsheet with all your transactions in it. And it feels like a bit of an extra step, and it absolutely is, but it's a really good banking control where the bank says, we won't send money out of your account unless you've already told us it's going. So that's a wonderful control, but you do have to pay for that. And
I'm sure
in my opinion, it's worth it for a lot of companies, but a lot of people don't want to pay for that.
Yeah.
So here you have segregation of duties. And even though they had segregation of duties at this particular company, they probably needed to have one additional, and I'm going to guess that there's going to be one additional person added into that wire transfer function. Things like checks always require someone to sign them and look at the support. But wire transfers, for some reason, were just a little bit easier to get out the door. And a lot of time it's like a rush. We need to get the wire transfers out. So yeah, I guess those are a couple of things I would think about.
Yeah, those are good ones, because the thing that scares me the most is if somebody has your bank account info, they can initiate an ACH transfer. You can't stop it, which I find kind of scary. That
And
always
there is ACH positive pay. And so that's why, and in addition, when you have companies pull money out of your account, like we all have like our utility, like our company has our bank account, right? And we allow them that information so that we can do automatic payments. But you can tell your bank, no ACHs should be pulled out of my account unless they are these 5 companies.
Oh wow, okay.
You can pull an ACH out then. So bankers love to push that stuff because it's good money for them.
That's really good info. Is there anything else that you wanted to add? Because this is such great information, and I thank you so much for taking your time to share that with us.
Sure. I just think you can't be careful enough when it comes to your company and the controls over your cash. You can't be careful enough. And if you have to pay a little extra to do that, I highly recommend that you do. Don't make those controls over your own cash second or low priority.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thank you.